All right, everybody. I think we're going to get started. Put my camera on. I'm just going to wave. Hey, everybody. How's it going? All right. So, let me check my notes here. Thank you for coming. Really appreciate it. Um, I need to introduce myself. I've been told that I don't do that very often. So, my name's Chris. I'll be your iGUIDE guru for today. I'm technically the marketing manager at Planetar, but um, because I have, you know, a fair amount of technical knowledge, I get roped into doing things like webinars. And I'm okay with that because they're fun. And everyone seems to really like them. I've got a lot of experience shooting property, so I'm the fella. If we haven't talked yet, if you don't know me, I'm a fella that you can call if you want a little bit of help when you're getting started. I'm not really the guy you call when you need tech support. That's something you want to get through our support ticketing system. So if your camera's broken or you're having an issue, you can try to call me if you want, but you probably won't get me. It's better to go to the people who are the pros at that. So today is going to be very similar to our other webinars. I'm going to talk for maybe 30 minutes. We'll do a demo, um, and then I'll answer any questions you have. So what we're going to cover today is the basics. Like, for example, what is this iGUIDE virtual showing? I'm going to answer some key questions that surround it, and then we're going to talk about some of the benefits of it, because you might think, why would you bother? So I'm going to sort of describe that, and then I'm going to give you a demo and show you a comparison between a regular iGUIDE, showing, if you will, online, and the iGUIDE virtual showing, so you can see the advantage. All right, so I'm going to turn my camera off so that we save some bandwidth. All right, cool. So let's answer the question. What is this thing, iGUIDE virtual showings? Glad you asked. So iGUIDE virtual showing is a system for, or a feature, if you will, for sharing an experience, an iGUIDE experience or a property viewing experience online. And it relies on the connection from one iGUIDE to another. So what that means is it's like screen mirroring, it's like screen sharing, but it's not quite that. So what's shared is not your screen. What's shared is your actions. So if I look up, the interface or the iGUIDE on your computer looks up. If I look down, it looks down. And if I look left and right, it looks left and right. And if I zoom in, it zooms. So um, the reason that's, sort of valuable is that there will always be a place for that kind of experience, in the sense that the typical virtual tour is kind of a DIY thing. You send the link to someone, they explore for themselves. But there's always this component that's a much more guided one, in any sort of real estate or really other types of property viewing experiences. So this allows that to occur more efficiently and with a little bit lower bandwidth, and it creates a much better experience. And you'll see that in the demo. And I'll literally show you what it looks like. But I need to make an important note. iGUIDE Virtual Showing is available for any iGUIDE. I'll show you where to find it. But it is also available from a second place. So in Ontario, Ontario only, the iGUIDE Virtual Showing feature is integrated into Broker Bay. So what that means is that through the MLS and with participating brokerages, the ones who use Broker Bay, they can get access to this through that system instead. It's similar, but it's also different because it has all of Broker Bay's like tools, and you have to log in. So I can't show that to you because I don't have a login, but it is available there. So if you have questions, you're going to have to direct them to Broker Bay or your agents even. But you're going to get a general idea of what the experience is like from this. So let's go through some key questions. I hope that was a good explanation of what this is. It's a way of remotely showing a property, without doing it in person, but it still gives you that guided experience versus a self-guided tour. So key questions. What is the cost? So it's free. It's included with every iGUIDE. It doesn't cost you anything. However, there is a small cost in terms of education and learning and adoption. And there's always going to be something like that for any new feature. So there's no, financial cost, but there is a cost in the sense that you have to teach this as people who use the camera. Most of you will be. You have to teach this to people who will be doing the showings. So you can see on screen, I've actually put the instructions in. If you go to show.youriGuide.com, you can actually access this page. That will give you the instructions. They're on the next page too. But if you just want to look at the instructions, you could go to this URL as well. Typically, you wouldn't go to an iGUIDE, or you wouldn't do a virtual showing from here. You'd do it from the iGUIDE itself. But we'll get to that in a minute. So another key question is, who is this for? So this is for a few different groups of people. Typically, this is going to be for buying agents and listing agents, people who want that property information and want to share it with someone online. But that can really be anybody. So you can use it yourself, for example, to show a friend something you think is interesting in a property. There's nothing to say that this is a tool exclusively for agents. It can be for anyone. I literally used it today to show my wife something in a house that we were looking at. So I just thought it would be kind of fun to give it a test, make sure it works before we do a webinar, So I used it to show her something, and she thought it was awesome. She was like, wow, this is really cool. Like, I didn't have to go hunting for this thing. You just sent me the link. I logged in, and you just took me there. And I was like, yeah, that's the whole point. That's the reason why you would use it. So this is for buying agents, listing agents, and anyone interested in showing someone else something in a property remotely. So the most common question I've had so far since this has been made available is, why wouldn't someone just use like a screen share? Couldn't you just use the screen share? It's built into everything. And the answer is, yeah, you could. You totally could do that if you wanted to. So if you've got Zoom, GoToMeeting like we're using now, Skype, Facebook, whatever, that might be the path of least resistance. So you could certainly do that. But the experience isn't fantastic. It's very hard to figure out what it is that the people on the other end are seeing. So when I'm sort of attempting to show you things, I have to move very deliberately and very slowly, because you're not getting all of the information. You're only getting a bit of it. So with an iGUIDE, there's a lot of information as you move left and right and you zoom in and out, and a whole bunch of that is gone because there's missing frames. So that means that just data doesn't get to you. And there's also a lag. So I might be talking about the backsplash, and you haven't even seen it yet, and I've already moved on, to the size of the dining room, and then you see the backsplash. So that can be really uncomfortable when you're trying to communicate with people, and they're constantly saying things like, hey, wait, hold on, I can't see that, or can you go back, or oh, can you do that again? That can drive people bonkers. So iGUIDE virtual showings is a better experience than that, because it's not sharing video, it's sharing like actions. So it's way smoother. Which is nice. So then the next, most popular question I get constantly is, okay, well, is there like chat built in, or what do we do a call or something? And the answer is, you use whatever you want. So iGUIDE virtual showings it has extremely low overhead in terms of data. So if you want to do a video chat while you do it, go ahead. If you want to do that on any different type of system, Facebook, GoToMeeting, Zoom, anything you can imagine, it's compatible with all those things. And it's nice because it allows you to use something you're already comfortable with, or an agent's already comfortable with. You don't have to re-educate them on a whole new chat system and then troubleshoot all the problems that are associated with that. It's just not there. So there's no chat built in. Use whatever you want. This also means it's compatible with sort of more legacy or older forms of communication. So you could do this over the phone if you wanted to. That's an option. And one of the weird things about this is that this is extremely good on mobile. It's really good. It works really well. So those are all the key questions. If you have any questions that aren't answered after this webinar, write them in the chat, and I'll go through each and every one. And if I don't have an answer, I'll find one for you, or I'll just answer it right then. So anyway, while we're talking about benefits, why don't we go through some really general benefits for anyone, who's using this technology. It's great on mobile. I just mentioned that, I think. So one of the things that's really neat is that when you log in on a phone, it's perfect. There's no lag. It doesn't cause any issues. So that means it's very friendly when you're on like cellular data, because it's not using a lot of data, but you can still see everything that's going on. It's wonderful. It works across mobile, desktop, and tablets simultaneously. So I might be doing the demo. So if I'm the host, that's the person, running the show. If I'm the host, I could be running it on a computer, and there can be a whole bunch of people on whatever device they have kicking around, phone, mobile, grandpa's on his laptop, like it's fine. And they'll all get the same experience. It's great. The experience will differ, obviously, because the screen size is different, but you're going to get what you get on that device either way, and it's very smooth. And it's really suited, what I found, to Floorplan Navigation, which is a strength of the iGUIDE. So what that means is that I can reference things on the floor plan. I can say, hey, let's have a look at the kitchen. You can see it on the floor plan there in the top right-hand corner. And then when I click on it, obviously the visuals change. You know, you're going to see a transition to the kitchen, but the floor plan stays the same. So even though I'm not in control, I have like a static thing to look at. So it's a little bit less like I'm being flung around the house and more like I'm being taken on a guided tour. That's an opinion. That's a personal opinion just from experience, but I found that can be quite nice. You know, it can be uncomfortable for people to see 360 visuals getting flung around. So if you have that, you know, that reference point, that anchor of the floor plan, it's a much more comfortable experience. And then another weird benefit, there's no login required. So there's lots of systems that require you got to log in, you got to make a password, all that nonsense. You don't need any of that. You just get the link, go in. You have to make a name for yourself. You know, it doesn't have to be real. You can pick a joke name. That's fine. I won't tell anybody. And those are just the benefits for like everyone. There are lots of other benefits for agents specifically, or for the kind of main target audience for this. So I'll just hit you with a couple real quick before the demo. So because it's a virtual showing, obviously there's no contact. It's done remotely. That's very appropriate for this time because we're still, you know, dealing with the COVID stuff. So virtually guiding someone through a property is more valuable. And that has all sorts of side benefits. No lock boxes, no keys, there's no mess. You don't mess the home up if you don't go there. But it still allows agents to do what they do, which is keep buyers on track so they don't get lost in the details, and to really use their skills to communicate that home to, you know, a potential buyer. So it really is an excellent tool that makes real estate professionals very relevant in this process because they have a lot to offer. Okay, that's a lot of talking. I'm sorry. Let's do the demo now. So what I did is I picked an iGUIDE for fun, and I'm going to show you how to find the iGUIDE virtual showing. Before we do that, let's just look around this house. It's really nice. It was a demo house that I did for a builder, and they had all these floor plans, which I thought was cool. I'm a bit of a nerd. I like floor plans. So I'm just going to go around the property. I'm going to zoom in and zoom out, and you can tell me what the experience is like for you guys. Like I'm in the kitchen right now. What do you guys see? Are you in the kitchen yet? Oh, there you go. I think you guys saw that Easter egg. So this property is actually from Easter. We made this iGUIDE as a bit of a fun thing for Easter, and I don't think it really got shared all that well. So I think some people saw it because it was just as we were all kind of ordered to stay at home. And oh, it's a bit choppy. Yeah, you noticed that. That's right. So it's a little bit, experience isn't great, you know. So for example, I've already moved on a long time ago up the stairs. There you go. And you guys are just catching up now. So there's a big delay. There's a lot of lag in the screen sharing that you'll notice. But either way, sorry, I got off track there. This iGUIDE was made as a bit of a gag. It's an Easter egg hunt. So there's Easter eggs hidden all throughout here. So I'm going to show you like 2 or 3 of them as we go through the property. There's one up here. Check this out. There you go. Sorry, it takes a while. It's a bit of a lag there. But anyway, the whole point here was that this is choppy and it's not a very comfortable experience doing the video share. And it's going to vary greatly depending on your connection speed and the device that you're using and all sorts of factors. So why don't we switch to the iGUIDE virtual showing and see how that suits us. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to show you where to find it. I'm going to copy the link out, and then I'm going to put it in the chat. So you're going to be responsible as the webinar attendees. I'm going to give you a virtual showing, so you need to click on that link and load it up. So we've never tried this before. This might be a bit weird. So I'll show you where to find it first. In the bottom of the iGUIDE, there's a share button. So I don't know if you guys can see my cursor, but it's just there at the bottom, just to the right of the measurement tool in the floor selector, and then to the left of the question mark button. So when I click it, I get the share page. Fun fact, not a lot of people know this, you can share the iGUIDE right from this page, and you can also share it to a specific view. I showed my wife this yesterday, and she was like, that is so cool. I had no idea you could do that. And I was like, well, that's embarrassing. So if you choose use current 3D view, it adds this like extra text onto the URL, and then when someone loads up this URL, they'll see exactly what you are looking at. So it's cool. It's a fun trick if you just want to show something to someone who's very specific. Like I want them to see this figurine of a bull, and you can zoom in on it and then share that link by clicking that button. Okay, but anyway, I'm going to click on Create Virtual Showing. So this is, again, available on every single iGUIDE. This is where you find it. So when I click it, it's going to go to this page. This page gives you some basic instructions, and you can see that the iGUIDE URL is here. So it automatically populates it with the appropriate iGUIDE URL. You don't have to put it in. All you have to do is follow the instructions or just click Start Virtual Showing. And then you are going to see this. Now, for a person running the tour, you obviously need to share it with somebody. So I'm going to share that with you right now. I'm going to click the Share button in the top right-hand corner, and it's going to, hope you guys can see that. It's going to give me a URL for sharing. It automatically copies it, but if it doesn't, you can just Control-C. Copy this. Now I'm going to paste it in here, and now I've shared that with you. Now you guys can start logging in. Now the cool thing is I'm going to see you guys as you log in the top right hand corner here. There's a little like person. There you go. 2, 3, 4. It's going up. I'm going to take a sip of tea while you guys log in. So I'm going to pause my screen share so that I don't mess anything up. And I'll just wait for you guys to log in. All right, can someone confirm for me that they can see in the chat, sorry, that they can see the movement and you can see what I'm seeing? Cool. Yeah, so what you're going to notice, smooth. That's right. It's very, very smooth. It's a lovely experience. And it's like someone else piloting the iGUIDE on your computer. I've noticed from personal experience, it's a little bit robotic. Like it's not exactly like how a person would do it because it's translating the movements in a sort of basic way, but it's good. It's a very good experience. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what you can do. Actually, let's go somewhere more fun. Let's go upstairs. Oops, that was downstairs. Wrong one. So as you can see, I can switch floors. I can change levels of the house. So I was using the gates there to switch levels, but you can do the same thing you would normally do, which is click on the floor selector and switch floors at any time. Let's go to the second floor and I will show you some stuff. So if we were to just break this down into exactly what it is that you can do, right? You can look left and right and up and down, obviously. So you're going to see those movements very quickly. I can move from one pano to another, and you're going to see those as well with the transition, but I can also zoom in and out. So you guys should have seen me zoom in and out there. So what this allows me to do is show you things I think are important. So if I look over here at this cabinet, you can see, oh, there you go. There's an Easter egg. I think there's like 10 or 15 of them somewhere in this property. Like I said, this was supposed to be for Easter. I don't think I finished that whole statement. This was supposed to be for Easter. It was supposed to be a fun Easter egg hunt. I don't know if anyone ever actually saw it because things were crazy with the COVID. Either way, as you can see, I can move throughout the property. I can go room to room and floor to floor. So what this allows me to do is, as I said earlier, reference things on the floor plan, and I think this is one of its strengths. So if you look in the top left-hand corner of the floor plan, you can see the master bedroom. So if I click on the master bedroom, we'll be taken there. So now I've verbally addressed that weird sort of teleportation thing. Oh, there's another Easter egg. You can see it there, hidden behind the curtains. And it allows me to zoom in on things like this light fixture, or it allows me to zoom in on, this weird vase of grass. or whatever I think is important. You know, it's going to be features, right? It's going to be granite countertops and I don't know, fireplaces and gas stoves and all that kind of junk that people think is cool when they're looking for a home. So what you should notice, I mean, the main takeaway here is that this experience is significantly superior to a video share. That's the main reason why you would use this. So if someone asks you, well, why would I bother? I can just do video share. Like, it doesn't seem to be much point. Well, it's worth the extra effort. It's worth that. And it's a small amount of effort, mind you. Like, you click on a button and then you click another button and then you send a link, you know. It's worth it to get a much smoother, more attractive experience. So now another question I didn't address earlier, but it may come up, is how do I share the link? So that link I shared with you guys, I put it in the chat. So here, I'm gonna end the showing so you guys can see what that looks like as well. Just gonna exit here. There we go. So what you guys are gonna see is something like, I don't know, the host has left the tour or something like that. So that's normal. What happens when someone leaves the tour, or sorry, the host leaves the tour, is that the remaining participants are basically cut off from that information. So that's intentional. That's a security thing. You can imagine that this is meant to replicate a showing. And in that sense, the way it would typically be used is that, you know, you would take someone on a guided tour as an agent or, you know, person who's showing the property. And then after you've done the guided tour, you would switch and you would give that person then access so that then they could look at the tour. So, but you have to choose to give them that access, and that's easily done by sharing the original iGUIDE URL with them. But that's something that has to be done manually, and that's a security thing. It's just there so that people don't continue their tour endlessly and look at whatever they want if that's not something that you require, something that you want to do. All right, cool. So where are we at? We're doing pretty good, 24 minutes. Either way, it's a really fun experience, and it seems to hold up well. There is no limit oh, sorry, Zoom is done. I'm just going to answer some questions right now. Zoom is done with the scroll wheel on the mouse. So if you use your scroll wheel, it'll zoom in and out. Can we use the measurement tool? No, you can't use the measurement tool in this, not yet. So right now, this is meant to be something that's very simple. And if it gets used, basically you can expect that it would be improved later. The advantage of doing a screen share on Zoom, you can share a browser window on your screen with a complete iGUIDE tour, including other features like photos. Yeah, absolutely, 100% that's an advantage. So if the smoothness of it is not of value to you, or it's not of much value, then by all means. But static photos, I mean, that's easy. Screen share, no problem. Details like, you know, the room dimensions and square footage, again, static, they don't do anything. Map, there's a little movement there, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the process of using this is so superior to a video share in terms of a physical amount of movement that you get, that it's better. Also with video, you can't control the experience or even know what the experience is like for the other user. So it may look on your screen like you're doing it very smoothly, but to the other person on the other side, it might be choppy and confusing and cut out. So what happens with video sharing software like Zoom, Facebook GoToMeeting is that they prioritize the audio over the video. So you could be just talking away and you can hear the other people talking, but the video cut out like 3 minutes ago and you have no idea. It's not clear that that's actually the case. And that's very common, so that you can still maintain that connection, but the video requires so much more bandwidth than the audio that they cut that off first. It's not a priority. Does it work with all video meeting software? The answer is yes, it most certainly does. So the way that I just used it, I'm going to share my screen again for fun. The way that I just used it is the way that we would expect it to be used, in the sense that you would connect with someone using whatever communication system that you like. So Zoom, great example. And then you would have a chat on Zoom, and you might even go through the photos first. You know, you might load up the iGUIDE and say, look, I've got a slightly better experience. And with the iGUIDE loaded, then go to the share button, then start the virtual showing so that they can have that smooth experience. Yes, we do. Okay, so do you have an iGUIDE we can share? We have demo iGUIDEs, 100%, and it's available on any iGUIDE. So that means all of our demos work. any iGUIDE you've made will work. Anything you can find, it doesn't matter. You could go on, realtor.com or realtor.ca and find one, and it'll work. And we do have an educational training video as well. This is meant to be very simple and bare bones so that it's easy to understand. The knowledge base article here, I'll just load it up actually, so you guys can see it. There are instructions. The only thing that's not fully fleshed out yet is something that's a little more marketing-y slash advertising-y. We're working on that this week and into next week. So this feature was rushed. I don't know if that was obvious or not, but because of the current circumstances that we're in, it was moved forward rapidly because we know people want to take advantage of this. It was not obvious. Okay, I'm telling you. So that'll make it obvious. Yeah, this was meant to be something that was created very quickly to meet a really clear need and demand from the industry and from people. And I'm quite happy with it. I've used it quite a bit. It seems to work, relatively flawlessly, which is cool. So anyway, I'll show you guys where to find the instructions. So I'm sure you all already know how to do this, but if you go to our support desk, you can search for knowledge base articles. It helps to spell them correctly. That's usually handy when you're searching for something. There you go. So here you go. iGUIDE virtual showings and frequently asked questions. So there are full instructions. There you go. There's a video that you can share. It's just a YouTube video, so it literally has like a little, what do you call it? Little like share button. So you could send that directly to an agent if you wanted to. And then it's got frequently asked questions. They're all the ones that I answered. So that's kind of cool. There's a lot of little fiddly things that no one's asked me, and I'm happy that no one asked. Like, how do you change your name once you've picked a name? No one asked that. I'll just tell you, it's complicated. Once you pick a name, it remembers it. So you have to go in and clear it. There's instructions here on how to change your name. I figured that out because I made a fake name. I called myself Brett the first time I used it, and then I couldn't change it, so I had to figure that out. I don't know if this came up yet, if I've said it, but the limit to the number of people that can join is 100,000. So that's a lot. So that should cover even the hugest, webinar slash podcast with thousands of people. You could still use this technology to show up properly. So it's very flexible that way. And I already mentioned that it works on mobile devices. It's awesome on a phone. I don't know if anybody tried it on a phone just now, but what you can do if you really want to get comfortable with this is you can test it out for yourself. So the easiest way to do that is to find an iGUIDE, click the share button, click the virtual showings button, and then start one. And once you started it on your computer, take your cell phone and share the link with yourself on the computer to your email and load it up on your cell phone. If you do that, everything you do on your computer will be mirrored to your mobile device, and you can kind of get a feel for what it's like for a host and what it's like for a client. And I can tell you right now that what you're going to see is that it's like one for one. It's nuts. Like, it's really smooth. It's really clear. Everything you do on one device is just mirrored to the other with no gaps. It's very cool. Weird side effect, though, is that the transitions sometimes happen before for clients than they do for hosts. That's very strange. I don't know why that is. All right, cool. Let's see how we're doing for time here. Oh, yeah, lots of time. Okay, so do you guys have any other questions? If not, we're going to call it there. There isn't much more to really talk about, I don't think. I'll give you guys a minute while I sip my tea. If you want to type any questions in the chat. So on the way out here, I just wanted to say that the recording for this will be available online. So I hope that people are finding these. I'll show you if I can spell it right. If I go to goiguide.com, which you guys should be able to see now, and I go to media, and then I scroll down and I click on webinar. Maybe more than once. There you go. All the webinars are coming up here. So tomorrow, webinar number 12. This one will be available here. Let's see. When will the measurement tool and the rest of the iGUIDE tour be available for viewing? So that may be never. It may be soon. It really depends on if people like this or not, because we're not going to waste our time doing that extra development if it doesn't make sense. So if you want those features, you put it in the feature suggestions on the forum and ask for it, and we'll try to add it. I say we, I'm not going to do anything. The software developers will try to add it. Is there some place on the portal to get a running total of costs we have incurred for iGUIDEs? I don't know. You'll have to go to, or sorry, there isn't that I'm aware of. You need to go and ask billing. Basically, send an email to billing, and then they'll just tell you what it is. Cool. Okay, let's. Is there anything else? Am I missing? Oh yeah, like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. If you follow and tag us on social media, we can like and share your content. I have to say that every time we do one of these. Awesome. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great day. Have a great weekend, I guess. Cheers.